and welcome to another episode of the Woollentwine Fibre Studio Knitting Podcast. My name is Jule and I am the dyer and maker behind Woollentwine Fibre Studio, which is a small creative space located in northern Germany where I play with natural dyes and sustainable and natural yarns. And yeah, if you are new here, then a warm welcome. I know we have a few new followers here on YouTube, and yeah, I'm glad you found my little space here, and yeah, a warm welcome. I hope you'll enjoy what I'm gonna put out. And for any returning viewers, welcome back. It's lovely to have you here, and yeah, for this episode we are going to not focus on the knitting content so much, but rather have a little bit of a preview of the colorways that I will have in the next shop update. I think it would be nice to have a little bit of an introduction to how these shop updates work, especially because there are so many new people here, and I want to make sure that you can get how it works without having to watch all my videos that I used to record back in the day. So yeah, the shop updates happen usually kind of once a month. That's pretty much my schedule for now. I don't know, it might be a little bit less often in the summertime, but usually it works like this, that I dye all the yarn, and then once a month I put everything into the shop at a certain date and a certain time, and then you can purchase whatever might catch your eye. So that's how it works. And just so it doesn't lead into any kind of hectic buying, I record these little videos where I chat you through the colorways that I've dyed, and also remind you of what the yarn bases are like, what they're suitable for, and yeah, just have a general overview on what's gonna be available in the shop update. So yeah, I guess I should maybe mention the date of the next shop update. I'm gonna repeat some things in the at the end of the video, because that's usually where I try to sum up all the info. But yeah, first of all, I want to say that the next shop update will be next Friday, so February 18th at 8 p.m. GMT +1. I also link the date down below, and yeah, it's basically, I always add these little reminding things to my Instagram stories, so in case you are having issues with time zones or knowing when it is for your location, then you can also activate those little reminder buttons on Instagram. And you can also subscribe to my newsletter, because I'm going to send out an email once the shop is live. So you can also get reminded that way if you prefer it with a newsletter. Yeah, I think that's it for today's intro. I'm going to be starting off with the yarn bases that I have, then I'll show you the colorways that are available, and then sum it all up at the end. So I will also add these little timestamp thingies to the bottom, so you can just skip if you're particularly interested in one of the bases. You can just skip to the bases and then or re-watch maybe if you're not sure about the colorways. And yeah, in case there's anything that's not clear, or if I forget something, I always forget things about these shop update previews, so always feel free to just email me or message me on Instagram, because I was just joking to my mom this morning that with all the colorways that we've dyed a lot of colorways. My mom is helping me quite often, by the way. I was like, this is kind of reminding me of vocabulary tests when I was still in school, because I have to remember all the names from the top of my head, and there are a lot of colorways. And yeah, so bear with me if I forget something, and yeah, just let me know if you have any kind of questions. And now, without further ado, let me show you the colorways. So I'm going to start out with our BFL Masham bases. We have two yarn bases that are a blend of 75% BFL, so blue-faced Leicester sheep, and 25% Masham sheep. And those are kind of our staple standard bases that we try to restock in every shop update. And I did it last time, and I think it was very nice for you, for your planning, that I dyed the same colorways on both bases all the time. So each colorway will be available on both the 4-ply and the DK base. So I'm just going to show you the colorways once, and they will be available on both bases. Just a quick reminder, the BFL Masham DK base is 240 meters per 100 grams, pretty much a standard DK weight base. It's very warm and has a lovely drape, so I think it's equally suitable for garments or accessories. Depending on your gauge, you can also knit it at a little bit more of a tight gauge. I did that with a little hat that I knitted a few months ago, and that one's still in perfect condition. And yeah, so it's pretty much the most versatile base of the ones I own, I stock in my shop, let's put it that way. And it's just, yeah, very nice, drapey and warm, and I think it's also the most soft base, apart from the sock yarn, but that's something to cover later. So yeah, I think it's equally suitable for garments and shawls and everything. Same goes for the BFL Masham 4-ply base, which is a fingering weight with 400 meters per 100 grams. It's the same fiber content as the DK base. It's just a bit thinner, and I think it's exceptionally beautiful to pair it with like a second strand or hold it double, because yeah, it's a pretty lightweight yarn, so you can easily pair it with, for example, a strand of mohair or alpaca, or just maybe hold it double and even marl two colors together. Yeah, possibilities are endless there. So yeah, these are the two BFL Masham bases, and they will be available on all the colorways that I'm showing you right now. As all of my yarns, the two bases are 100% natural wool, so no additives, no nylon, no superwash or anything, and all naturally dyed. So the only colors I use, there's nothing man-made, it's all derived from nature, and yeah, kept all as natural as it can be. So yeah, I'm always like, this is so clear to me that I'm not using any kind of superwash or chemically treated yarn, but yeah, I kind of forget that there are new people coming around here, and I should maybe repeat these things every now and then. So here you go, all natural yarn and no superwash. So yeah, if you're new to non-superwash yarns, feel free to reach out to me, and I'm gonna share with you how the aftercare is supposed to work and what you might look for when knitting with it. But yeah, it's actually not that hard. So I can only recommend trying to use some natural yarns. Yeah. So maybe I should finally stop rambling and show you the colorways that we'll have available. So we will start out with the classic colorways that we are going to restock. These are ones that usually are quite popular for quite a while already, and I always try to restock them in case people are missing out on them. I don't always restock all of the classic colorways in every update, that's just not possible. But I'm going to start out with the more classics, and then I'm going to move on to the new colorways that we'll have. So first colorway that I'll restock in this update is the lavender colorway. And this is a lovely muted kind of light purple with yeah, a pretty cool grayish undertone. I should maybe mention that the BFM Masham bases both are naturally grey, so they are not white, which is why the colors come out more muted, which I personally love absolutely. And yeah, I hope you will do too. But yeah, this is the lavender colorway, and I hope you can see the colors well. It's very gloomy today, so I really hope it will be visible anyways. But yeah, this is lavender, and then we're going to have another purple that's called plum, that is significantly darker and yeah, a bit more witchy, I would say. I hope the light is okay. Yeah, if something is not clear or you want to see another colorway a little bit more, then just let me know and I'll send you a picture. But these are the two together, lavender and plum. And then we'll also have some Walmart colorways, such as our classic. This one sells out in every update, and I'm always so fascinated by it because I love it myself, but yeah, it still is a very popular colorway. Probably because it's the colorway that Leke of Fibrestudio, who I'm lucky to call my friend, designed the Humlebi shawl in, which was released in collaboration with Eva of the Blue Rabbit House. And I think it was released last year or something. And it's the little shawl with the bees. I don't know if you saw it maybe on Instagram or somewhere around. But this is the original colorway it was designed in. And this is caramel. It's kind of a warm brown with a reddish undertone. And yeah, it's pretty much a staple by now. So I'm trying to restock it as often as I can. And then we have another brownish kind of tone that's called Moral. And this one has been very popular in the last updates as well. It's very wearable and much more cool in undertone than the caramel colorway. But I think it's just very beautiful and earthy and yeah, just very lovely. So let's stay in a little bit of the brown earthy tone category. Another classic is our almond colorway, and this is kind of a, yeah, like a beige, but a bit more saturated than a light beige, and it's very versatile as well. I think whenever I dye this colorway, I'm like, I need a garment out of this yarn myself, because I really love how it looks with the black as well. So yeah, this is almond. And then the last colorway out of the slightly more brownish earthy tone category is this one. And this is our colorway called Maple Leaf. It's a very rusty brown orange tone. And I personally love... Hey, come on, focus, camera. I really like the little variegation this colorway has. So yeah, these are the more brown neutral tones, or more earthy, let's put it that way. And yeah, oh yeah, no, it's right. This is the almond on top. Then we have Moral here, which is a bit blown out by the light right now. Then we have caramel and the Maple Leaf colorway. So let me put these down. So next up we're going to go into the little bit more of the greenish color family, and in this update we are going to have the colorway Olive, which is like a mustardy, olivey, green, yellow. I don't know, I described this very badly, but you know what I mean. It's like a kind of a hybrid between a yellow and a light green. And I think it's very pretty, and this colorway really, I feel, it really shifts with the light, and sometimes it really glows super beautifully, which I really love. And then our lighter, more coolish green, that is Artichoke. And this one actually has been a favorite in the last few updates as well. And I actually really think it's the perfect spring color for like a springy kind of jumper or something. So yeah, I think it would be really pretty to make like a spring jumper in this colorway. By the way, is anyone else craving warmer days as much as I am right now? Because you will see in the little color palette that I dyed for this update that I've definitely had enough of those dark and gloomy days. And I'm a crazy winter lover normally, and I absolutely adore the cold days and everything, but lately it has been so rainy and just gloomy and dark, and I've really felt issues in the morning to like get up as motivated as I should do or like as I used to do, because it was just like every morning it was really rainy and grey. And for those of you who don't know, I always walk to the studio and back every day for like half an hour walk to have a little bit of exercise. But getting up and knowing I'm gonna be soaked again once I arrive at the studio for weeks, it was just, I don't know, I'm not complaining or anything, but I just want to explain to you why the color palette for, especially for the sock yarn, turned out pretty much like I'm longing for spring, and I definitely do that. So yeah, if you're in need of some yarn that might make you feel a bit spring-like, such as the Artichoke colorway, I think I've got you covered in this update. But without any more rambling, I'm going to show you the last of the more classic colorways, and then we'll move on to the new ones, at least on the BFM Masham base. This one has been around ever since I've started dyeing, and this is the Mountain Rose colorway, and it's a lovely light coolish pink that I think is super wearable. And this colorway is actually the original colorway that the Belhaven Cowl by Ysolda Teague was designed in. We collaborated on this pattern, and I definitely recommend you checking it out. I'm going to link it down below because it's a very wearable wardrobe staple kind of cowl shawl kind of hybrid. It's all knit and brioche, but I think it's a very beginner-friendly brioche project, and I also think, if I'm not mistaken, Ysolda has a little bit of an online course on brioche knitting that you can take if you're new to this. I'm definitely not an expert at brioche, and I think this project would be the perfect thing to start out with because it's pretty straightforward. There are not a lot of shaping things going on, and I think it's just a very lovely pattern and very squishy and wearable. I never know how it is with inserting photos of that someone else took in my YouTube, even though of course I would credit everyone, but I'm never sure if I can just pop a picture on the screen, and we'll have issues with that. So I'm probably going to play safe and just put it down below in link, just so you can see. And the pattern is both available on Ravelry and on Ysolda's website. And yeah, so in case you're not able to use Ravelry or don't want to use Ravelry, you can also get the pattern there. So yeah, that is the Mountain Rose colorway, and it will be available on the BFM Masham DK and 4-ply base as mentioned in the beginning. Now I already chatted so much that I get a dry mouth, so let me get a sip of my tea. So, I've dyed 4 new colorways for this update on the BFM Masham bases, and yeah, these are, I tried to create something that's more spring-like and a little bit more punchy, and then I also tried to have some more muted tones that could be used for any kind of more, like, how do you say it? That is just very wearable and very easy in color. So I hope there's something for everyone. But let's start out with the first colorway, and this one is the colorway Coral. It's a little brighter on screen than it is in real life, I would say. It's a bit more muted. But this is a new colorway that I really love, and it's really screaming spring to me. And yeah, it's pretty much like a coral, but very like a muted kind of coral, because it's dyed on the grey base, so it's not very punchy coral color. But is it getting really light here? Wait a second. No, this way maybe. By the way, sorry, I'm sitting on a really squeaky chair, so I always apologize for that every time, but I haven't found an alternative yet to sit on, so sorry for that. But yeah, this is the Coral colorway, and now it also looks way more true to color than a minute ago. So this is Coral, a new one, and the first of the more muted ones that I think would go really well with the Coral. This is Sand, and it's just a super light beigey grey that I think would be perfect for a color work, maybe. This is with the Coral colorway. And then next up we have the colorway Raisin, and this one was really popular on my last update where I had my last limited edition yarn, and I think it's just really pretty. And I think it would make a perfect pop of a darker color in a color work as well. So yeah, it's like a deep dark berry kind of tone. And then we have something more muted again that, oh wow, these look really great together, I have to show you. But this is the Shell colorway, and it's actually a super light grey purple. So if you're looking for something that's not quite out there and is pretty much in the grey colorway region, but not necessarily a full grey, then this might be the perfect option. And I also have to show you this combination. This is the Raisin and the Shell colorway. I think they look very pretty together, maybe even with the Coral. I don't know if I can hold these three somehow. But maybe this way? Can you see? Oh, it's really pretty, I think. It's like a berries with something more neutral. Like maybe I can put it into the middle so it will this way. I think it's really pretty. Anyways, these are the new colorways. Oh, it would also be really pretty with the sand color. Hold on, I have to show you this one as well. So this is Coral, Sand, and the Raisin colorway. And I think it's just really pretty. But yeah, I don't want this video to get too long, so I might have to just continue. And yeah, these are all the colorways that we've dyed on the BFM Masham bases. As said, available on both weights, so the 4-ply fingering work version and the DK. And yeah, if you need any help with deciding on colorways, or if you're not sure about something, always feel free to hit me up. And now comes the very, very long part of the video where I'm going to show you all the colorways that I dyed on our sock base. So without further ado, let me chat you through all those colorways. So I hope that you are able to see me somehow, because the light keeps changing quite a bit recently. But I hope it will be possible to see what I'm gonna share with you. So I should maybe tell you a little bit more about our sock yarn base Corriedale sock. This is an 100% Corriedale fleece yarn that has been spun into a sock yarn. So it's a 400 meter per 100 grams, but it has a little bit more of a higher twist than you would have in a normal yarn to add some strength to the natural fibers, because I talk about this a lot in my knitting episodes, but I don't use any artificial yarns for my own knitting as well, and so sock yarns are no exception for me. And yeah, when I was looking for bases for my shop, I found this 100% wool sock yarn without any nylon and without any superwash, and so I tested it thoroughly and can say it's one of my favorite natural sock yarns that I've tried so far. I feel like with knitting socks without any additives, it's always like a little journey. Like, you have to find the way that works for you. It's very individual, depending on what kind of shoes you're wearing, or if you're even wearing your socks in shoes and all that. So I already mentioned that in my latest episode, that I might have to record a podcast episode all on natural sock knitting and my experiences with that, and it seemed like you guys would be really interested in me doing that. So yeah, I hope I can find the time to gather up all my thoughts and experiences and record an episode like that very soon, because I wouldn't consider myself an expert, but I did try quite some things in the last couple of years, and I do have some experiences with it, so I can maybe gather it all up and share it with you. But yeah, the Corriedale sock yarn is our sock base, but it's by no means only a sock yarn. You could totally knit any kind of garment out of this. And I've decided for this update to dye quite a few neutrals as well as punchy colors, just so you can maybe think of also using it for a garment. It feels a bit unusual to knit a garment with it at the beginning because it has such a high twist, and that's also when you knit socks for the first time and you're just making a stockinette stitch and you're a bit like, wow, this looks a tiny bit uneven. That's because the twist is so high and it really relaxes when you block it. So don't worry if your socks turn out a tiny bit wonky when you knit it with this yarn initially. But as soon as you will block it, it will totally even out and be very, like a very even fabric. But that's just because the twist is so high and it has to kind of relax a little bit when you block it. So yeah, but it's very suitable for garments as well. It has a pretty standard fingering weight meterage of 400 meters per 100 grams. So I can really encourage you to try it for maybe an accessory or garment. I'm actually planning to knit a shawl out of it in the near future, but it takes a while for me sometimes to plan my samples, because I want them to not be for just one showing in one episode, but I want them to be a very good example of the yarn. So I'm trying to always be conscious about that, just so I don't waste all the time of knitting it and all the yarn and then just using it once or twice. That would be a pity. So I'm trying to make the best thoughts beforehand and then knit the samples. So yeah, you can keep an eye out for that. I'm definitely gonna share my progress with you. But first of all, let me show you what colorways I dyed on the Corriedale sock base. So, for the Corriedale sock, I'm going to try and keep this kind of short because there's so many colorways. I'm looking at them right now, they're next to me, and they're basically filling all the little, like everything of the small table that I have here, so there are quite a few. So, I'm gonna show you the solid colorways first, maybe, and then I'm going to go, I have 3 multicolored colorways as well, just so if you prefer a little bit more of a fun, springy sock, I've got you covered as well. So, without further ado, let me show you the first colorway. And this one you have seen on the other BFM Masham bases already. This is Moral, and it's a lovely, pretty warm brown. You can definitely see the difference in tone in comparison to the BFM Masham DK and Foreplay base, because those are grey and the Corriedale sock yarn is white, and so without the grey undertone it looks very different and much warmer, but I think it's very beautiful and just a very cozy color. Next up we'll have another kind of favorite, that's mulberry. And this is like a berry, kind of, yeah, berry but very muted pink red. I'm very bad at describing colors, I'm very sorry, but that's why I show you and not describe them to you. But this is mulberry, and yeah, it's just a very pretty color. I think this would be perfect for a shawl, for example. And then next up we'll have our colorway artichoke. And here we kind of move into the more spring-like colorways. It's really hard to get this colorway right on camera because it always looks a bit more bluish than it actually is. It's actually a bit warmer, I feel. Is it possible to maybe see it here if I hold it a little bit further back? I don't know. But yeah, it's like a very light, fresh green that totally calls spring to me. So I think it's just very lovely. And I know that some of you were looking for some greens when I started my little poll on Instagram recently. So yeah, here is the green, here is the artichoke, and I totally love the colorway. I hope you can see it properly. Yeah, maybe this way. I think this shows the color nuances a bit better. But yeah, it's a touch warmer than it is on camera. I don't know, it's very hard to photograph and film greens, naturally dyed greens. I don't know why that is. But yeah, moving on with a little bit more of the neutral colorways. I dyed a lot of beiges and neutrals, as said, to make them suitable for garments as well. And this is the colorway Porridge. It's like a kind of a creamy orangey beige, I think. And I really love this colorway. It's kind of neutral but with a little bit of color. And then another neutral that's a bit more on the coolish side to compare, just so you can see. This is the Shell colorway, and it was really popular on my limited edition base in the last update. It's kind of a purpley grey beige tone. Pretty cool, especially if you compare it to Porridge. It's a lot cooler in undertone, but really pretty, I think. And then I'm gonna show you one more neutral that was really popular in the last update as well. And I was really happy because I wasn't sure if I could recreate it, because every yarn base, even though they are both white, for example, they react very differently to natural dyes. So it's very, like, I have quite some experience now and I can tweak my dyeing recipes in a way that I can achieve the colors I want to achieve. But with this one I was so particular about the shade, and I really wanted to re-dye it on the Corriedale sock base, and I'm really happy how it turned out. And this is the Linen colorway. It's something like a rosy beige, and it's just super pretty, I think. And this is actually in this colorway on my old limited edition base that was sold last time. This is the colorway that Läke or Fibertails designed the Var-socks I think. So these socks with the little flowers on them that you might have seen in my latest episode and in her latest video. She designed those in the colorway linen. So if you want something comparable, of course I don't have the yarn anymore, like the original yarn base, but this is the colorway that she used for that design, and I think it's just very pretty. And then if you have seen the Var socks that I've knitted, the short version, with a little bit more of the, like one row of flowers and a bit more the summer version, that one was knitted in the colorway Dandelion, and this is also going to be available in the next update. So it's a bit more, it seems a bit cooler on screen than it is in real life. And it's a little bit more saturated in real life. But here you can see the pink undertones better in the linen colorways. So these are the two colorways that were used for the Var socks that you might have seen recently. So this is this. I'm just trying to remember to tell you everything, just so I don't get confused. But yeah, the Var socks, the pattern will be released soon. We don't have a set date yet. So, but I'm definitely going to keep you updated, and you can also just follow along Lærke's social media and maybe subscribe to my newsletter as well, because we'll definitely let you know once the pattern is released. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, I also have it linked down below. It's a new sock pattern with a lovely flower embroidery at the cuff. And we made like a more wintry version with a long cuff and a summery version with a short cuff. And that's the pattern that's perfectly suitable for the Corriedale sock. Oh look, I'm already sneak peeking the next colorway. But yeah, if you have any questions about the Var socks, yeah, just let me know. But next colorway is Coral. I've dyed this one again on the Corriedale sock base as well. And it turned out a touch more muted than on the limited edition base, where I dyed it on last time. But I'm pretty pleased with that because, yeah, as you know, I love muted tones, so this is the Coral colorway. Another springy color, I feel, that really makes me crave some flowers and longer days and warmer days. But speaking of more muted tones, I also dyed the colorway Raisin on the Corriedale sock, and look how different it turned out compared to the BFM Masham, because it's a lot more brownish in undertone, I feel. Oops, we are having focusing issues here. It's a lot more brownish than on the Corriedale, not the Corriedale, sorry, BFM Masham base, where it's really berry toned. But I think this one is really beautiful. It still is quite berry-ish. If I hold it next to Moral, you will see that it still has a lot of reddish undertones, and it's not a complete brown, but it's kind of yeah, more brown than it is on the BFM Masham base. Is it getting super bright again? Not the easiest to record today, I guess. Let me see. I think this is a bit better. I'm sorry I'm adjusting the light so much. I wouldn't mind if I'm just recording a knitting episode, but I really want you to be able to see the colorways fully, and so it would be a bit annoying if the light blows them out. So yeah, I'm going to share another neutral with you now. That was really popular last time as well on the limited edition base. This is Cloud. And it kind of, especially on camera, looks like a pure white, but it's not. It's more like, it has a tiny bit of a yellow and a purple undertone at the same time. I don't know if that makes any sense, but it's just the perfect neutral if you want to knit, for example, a pair of colorwork socks. I don't know if you can see it better if I hold it back here, because yeah, it's not completely white or anything. It's yeah, it has a little bit of a wash of color, and I think I prefer that to regular undyed yarn, because it's just yeah, it has a little bit more depth to it, and I think it would go really well in like a colorwork sock, maybe with coral and shell. I don't know, but I really love combining it with different colors, and it just gives a little more depth than just a regular white base would do. And then I think this was the cloud colorway. Now we have the pinks. This one is the colorway Bloom, and it's kind of a warm rose gold kind of tone. I really love this one. So this is Bloom, and then we also have another pink, and I'm going to show you them like side by side just so you can see the difference. But this one is the blush colorway, and it's significantly more cool toned, which is why I want to show you them side by side, because this is the Bloom colorway and this is blush. Just so you can see what I'm talking about here. So, as you can see, a lot of springy kind of tones. We have one more neutral, and since I'm not sure whether I can recreate this one, it's going to stay a one-of-a-kind colorway. So this one will probably not be able to be recreated, just because yeah, there were some circumstances that I probably cannot recreate for a dyeing process. So this is a one-of-a-kind, and it's a very pretty, a very neutral kind of beige, less warm than linen and more warm than shell. Let me show you in comparison. So in the middle we have the one-of-a-kind colorway, and then we have the linen and the shell. And I love this color combo. I think I sneak peeked this one on Instagram recently, and I really loved this kind of very low contrast color combo. I think it would also go really well with the cloud if you wanted a little more contrast. So this would be linen, cloud and shell. And this is so beautiful, I think. I would love to take a skein of each for myself and knit a Stay Soft shawl. If you've been watching my episodes from the beginning, then you know that I've been planning to knit that shawl for forever and never came across, never managed to do so. And with this color combo, I'm kind of craving it now. I don't know, but it's just really beautiful, I think. Alternatively, we could also add a tiny bit more color even with this next colorway that I'm going to show you. And this is Apricot. And this is kind of hard to show because the light is a bit too bright, I guess. But it's like a light apricot tone with a bit of, like, it's not super orange, but it's just a very soft kind of apricot shade. And I really like this colorway. You can also imagine, you know, these are probably going to be my favorites, but I can really imagine it in this combo with the apricot, the linen and the shell. Yeah, I just love these kind of combos. But let's not waste too much time and show you the last of the solid colorways. And this is a colorway that I also showed you on the BFM Masham already. This is Lavender. And again, it looks a lot lighter and less muted than on the BFM Masham base, because it's a white one. And yeah, it looks a bit more grey on camera, I think. But if I compare it, for example, with Shell, you can see it's quite a bit more purple than the Shell. So I hope you have an idea. I'm trying to do some side-by-side comparisons because I know it can be hard with these kind of neutral shades to really see what the undertone is and how they differ from each other. But yeah, I really hope you'll enjoy choosing the right colorways. And as said, whenever you need help, I'm here. I'm going to try and stay online next week quite a bit so I can answer you some questions. And also I was wondering if it's interesting if I would but do an Instagram live video. I've not done one in ages, and I thought it could maybe be interesting to remind you of some things, but I don't really know if there's anything I forget in this video that I should cover. If you have anything or any thoughts about this, feel free to comment them below and we can see if it's something you're interested in, or if you're like, oh, I'm good with the YouTube video, just leave it at that. But before I will move on to more shop general info kind of stuff, I want to show you the 3 multicolored colorways that I dyed. They are also pretty spring inspired, but I tried to make 3, and they are all kind of, one is more out there, one is a bit more muted, and one is something in between, just so there's something for everyone if you've been looking for multicolored colorways, because I have not had them in the shop for quite a while, and they are quite labor intensive to dye, so sometimes it's easier to go for a solid, of course. But I just love them because they give me so much creative freedom, and it took me quite a while to figure out the dyeing process for them. But now I really enjoy them and they give so many possibilities, and I think it's also really lovely to have a multicolored sock. As someone who's pretty much into neutrals, mostly wears blacks, these kind of shades, I like to go a bit out there with my socks. That's probably the one garment I would knit out of a more punchy yarn, so for myself at least. So yeah, but I shouldn't ramble anymore. Let me show you the colorways. This is Bluebell, and it's kind of a purple variegation with some white and beige, and then some of these dark gray blue speckles. I should maybe also mention that these kind of colorways, I show you one skein now, but they don't, like, every skein is dyed individually, so there are kind of variations to expect, just because that's how it is with hand-dyed yarn. You cannot recreate things and placements of color and everything perfectly, but I try to always choose like one of the skeins that looks representative for the colorway. So this is Bluebell, and it has some, as you can see at the bottom here, it has some warmer purple speckles and then some cooler ones. And yeah, there's just a lot going on in this colorway. Next up we have the more muted one, for those of you who are not keen on the very colorful socks. This is Mushroom, and it has some browns and rusty speckles and some warm yellow parts. I don't know if you can see that here, but yeah, it has more the earthy kind of variegation. So this is Mushroom. And then I think this might be my favorite of the multicolored ones because it's so springy but soft at the same time. But this one is called Springtime. And it's pretty much a neutral, not white, but neutral base with a lot of colorful speckles, as you can see. And I think it's just so fun and lovely, and it's very spring-like, which is why it's called Springtime. But it's really funny, I showed this colorway. Oh, I love this color combo here. Maybe you can see it here. there are all the colors in one space, and I think it's just really fun and spring-like. It was funny because I showed this colorway to my friend Eva of the Blue Rabbit House this morning, and she initially said, oh, this would be lovely with contrasting heels and cuffs and toes, and I absolutely agree with her. So maybe if you have a mini skein that is in your stash and could pair with one of those colors, then I think it would be really nice to have a contrasting mini. And now the light is going down again. Hang on. Okay, so these are all the colorways on Corriedale sock. As said, let me know if you would like me to show anything, any color combos or something, if you're looking for a color work project or something. But yeah, these are all the colorways, and now we are going to move on to the more info kind of section where I tell you what else will be available in the update that I cannot necessarily show. So I would recommend sticking around because I might, yeah, I'm going to tell you more about a little sale section, so stay tuned. So let me get my tea for this more chatty section. So as mentioned, the shop update will be on Friday the 18th, 8 p.m. GMT. 18th of February, I should maybe say. And additionally to the colorways that I showed you now, there are also the colorways available that were still in the shop at the moment. So just so there's no confusion, we have a few skeins of some colors left in the shop at the moment. So if you want to see all colorways that will be available, I would recommend checking out the shop now, so you can also see what colors are there in addition to the ones I showed you. There, it's not a lot, it's just a handful, but yeah, I just want to make you aware that there still are a few skeins from the last update, and I don't want you to be like, oh, she didn't show this colorway in the preview, why is it there? And yeah, just so there's no confusion caused. And there will also be a sale section in this update. So I'm going to have some big projects in the works very soon that I'm dying to tell you about, but I can't yet. But I need some storage space here in my studio, which is why I'm going to do a little sale section of some single skeins and things that I've been holding on to because it was, for example, a base that I'm not dyeing anymore, or it's, for example, there are some skeins of the rustic merino worsted which I've stopped dyeing on regularly. Like it might come back one day in dyed form, but I generally usually stock the sheepy shades of that base. So there might be some single skeins of, well, not there might be, there will be some skeins of rustic merino, for example, in some naturally dyed colorways. And then just some random bits and bobs that that are difficult to stock in a regular update, like yeah, from previous limited editions, some single skeins from colorways that are just not widely available. So there is nothing wrong with the yarn, that's what I wanted to say. So there's nothing, I'm not I'm not putting a sale because there's anything wrong with the skeins. It's just that I have to make some space, and these are still there because I don't really know where to put them right now with the shop updates and having larger quantities of each color. So yeah, it's maybe a good opportunity if you're new to natural yarns and naturally dyed yarns and you don't want to go the whole splurge of a fully priced skein. You can maybe have a little bit of a try out with that sale section. I won't be able to share all the colorways and everything that will be in the sale because the video would be endless. but they will be photographed in a way that I hope you can get the grasp of the colors, and yeah, things will be quite heavily discounted. So yeah, if you're looking for some naturally dyed yarn and are not sure if it's for you or the right thing for you, then you can have a little tryout without the big splurge of a full skein, because I know naturally dyed and especially like generally hand dyed yarns can be quite expensive and not for everyone. And yeah, I'm definitely aware of that. So maybe the sale will be a good option for you. Another thing that I will have available again is a small quantity of my recently launched stitch markers that I made last year for the first time, and they were gone super quickly in that update, and I'm very happy for the warm welcome you gave these little things. Of course, it's not my main project that I work on, because yarn is my main thing I do, but I just really enjoy making them, and they are a nice little addition, I think, where I can yeah, be creative. And yeah, so they will be back. I won't have a lot of colors. I'm trying to limit it down to like, for example, 1 or 2 crystal colors, and then having different metal colors. But yeah, if you're looking for something small and are in need of some stitch markers, because aren't we knitters always in need of new stitch markers? They seem to disappear. Then you can have a look as well. Yeah, I think I'm showing them in one of my other episodes. I'm linking the update preview, I never know where, somewhere in the screen, so you can see them. They are made out of natural crystals and natural materials, so no plastic or anything involved, and they are tied on a small cardboard piece, and then I usually add a little naturally dyed ribbon at the top that I dyed with plants that I grew on my own balcony. So it's a little kind of a, it feels, whenever I make these, it feels like I'm making a little gift for someone, so I really love to get them out in the world, and I hope you feel a little bit special when you receive them. But yeah, so the stitch markers will be back as well. And anything else? I don't think so. I'm gonna have a look at my notes just so I can make sure I don't forget anything. But yeah, I think, oh yeah, there's one thing I wanted to mention, because I posted a little question sticker recently on my Instagram stories, and some questions I received were about what the yarn bases are suitable for when you knit with them. And I have a whole section on my website that's called bases, where I'm describing everything around the bases, where they come from, what they are, what the fiber content is, and also what needles to use them with. And I also linked a few patterns for each base that you can knit with it base. I mean, I'm pretty sure you all have your own plans, but in case you're a bit indecisive and one of the bases just speaks to you and you're like, oh, I would love to try it, but I'm not sure what to make from it, you can look at that page, and there are a lot of pattern suggestions linked. So yeah, that's what I wanted to mention. And then, yeah, I think let's move on to the next chatty section, because I have something else to address. So I wanted to include a little section into this video because I want to address a topic that has been around since the last shop update I had, and that I wanted to talk about because I didn't want to leave it like that. So if you've tried to shop my limited edition yarn in the last update, you probably noticed that it was gone super quickly. As a little reminder, I do produce my own yarns for the shop that are custom spun from local wool. I have an episode about this topic that I also will link in the little eye. But I do these little local yarn productions in cooperation with small shepherds and shepherdesses all around where I live. And this project is very dear to my heart because I work with quite small shepherds, and yeah, I can help add value to wool here in Germany again, because it's actually an issue that I'm not gonna cover again, but I'm talking about this in my local yarn production video. So in case you're interested in the process and how I source the wool, how it all comes to life, you can watch that episode. And maybe you can also grasp the vibe of why this is so important to me and why I do this. The issue with this with these limited editions is that they are limited, as it says. That results in some of the limited edition batches being quite small. And yeah, so last time there was the issue that I had a batch of the limited edition and it sold super quickly, and I received a lot of messages by people who were not able to purchase the yarn, even though they wanted to. And yeah, it was actually pretty sad to hear all that, but what made me even more sad was that from some people I had some quite nasty messages. Like, I'm not complaining, and I can totally handle these kind of things, because I'm like, I can understand that someone's frustrated and something, but yeah, there were some things where people questioned my system of selling my yarn and all these kind of things, and were clearly very frustrated and blamed the fact on me. And the thing is, I'm super grateful for all the support that I received, especially on this limited edition yarn. I couldn't believe it, how quickly it was gone, and I'm so happy for all the support. But the problem is with the growing support and the more people wanting to buy my yarn, I'm limited to my capacities, because I'm just one person and I have help. I'm very lucky to have my mom, who's supporting me a lot and helping me a lot with this, but I'm only one person and I just simply cannot make more. And there is nothing, like, the system of a shop update might not be the most convenient, of course, but I just cannot stock the shop constantly. I have to work this way. And I also cannot do anything about it when there's more demand for the yarn than I can produce. So with this limited edition, it was the issue that I only had a small batch and I dyed all of it, and I could not have dyed more with my current capacities, because I'm just one person. I have to also look for my physical health, and dyeing yarn is labor intensive also for your body, because you are lifting heavy skeins and everything. So I don't want to go too much into why I'm limited to capacities. It's just something I cannot change. I have so and so many skeins I can manage to dye for one shop update, and clearly the demand for the limited edition last time was bigger than that. And I'm so sorry for everyone who missed out, but I don't think it's okay to blame someone's system and to blame someone who's doing really their best to make everything available. So it really bothered me, because I was just so sad, and it really made I should have been so happy for all the support, but I was of course questioning myself and if I did something wrong, because there were such angry comments and such, and it really put a little shadow on the happiness that I actually had that the limited edition was so successful. And so what I want to say is that I'm super grateful for your support, but I cannot produce unlimited yarn. And with my growing business, which I'm super grateful for, I'm having the issue that some things just sell out quite quickly. And I can tell you that I'm working on this. I'm trying to up my capacities on some things, and I'm able to have much larger wool productions for those limited editions and also some other things now, thanks to your support. And I don't want to sound like I'm not thankful for that, but you're actually enabling me right now to make those larger productions, just so we don't have the issue of people being carjacked anymore. And so I hope that the issue will be solved in the future by the fact that through your continuous support I can produce larger amounts. But the issue that won't be solved is that I cannot dye more than just what I'm able to dye. So yeah, I think I'm just working my way through some optimizations, and I hope I can kind of still make as many people happy with the yarn that I'm making as I can. I'm really working hard to make the shop updates a little less stressful for you. That's why I'm recording these kind of preview videos, just so you can be prepared and you don't have to be like hectically buying things because you're afraid something sells out. But yeah, there's only so and so much I can do. And what I can definitely recommend... Oh, sorry, my phone's ringing at the moment. Just a sec. Okay. What I can definitely say is that I'm super happy that everything is going so well. But I have to stress about the fact that I would love you to be on time for the shop updates, because that's the only way I can ensure you'll get what you're looking for. I'm trying to dye larger quantities of each colorway, just so things don't sell out as quickly if you're looking for a colorway. But yeah, as said, there are limits to this, and I don't want to ramble on this forever, but yeah, I'm doing my best to prepare you for the update as well as I can. I'm always available if there are questions or if you need any help. And yeah, but at some point there's the limit of the amount I can make. So yeah, long story short, I can recommend being on time for the shop update, and then it should not be an issue to get what you're looking for. And I also don't want to put any pressure on anyone and be like, you have to be on time or you'll not get what you want. As you can see, there are still skeins available now from the last update. So it always depends, and some things sell quicker than others. But yeah, if you have something in mind that you see in this video and you want to buy it, then I can just recommend to be on time. Because that is the way that I know people have success and get what they want to get. So yeah, that was something I wanted to address. I hope I have not put you down or like or put you in a bad mood or whatever. I just really had to share this because yeah, it was affecting me, and I wanted to make these things clear and tell you my thoughts on it, and yeah, just let you know that I'm doing my best to work as much as I can and get as much yarn ready as I can, but there are limits. So, and yeah, I think that's it about this topic, and I still hope you're excited for the shop update. Oh yeah, one more thing. Because some people told me, why don't you make like a reservation time in the cart when you order? Because some people got carjacked, I know that. But the thing is, this is not changing, this is not changing anything to the general problem of a higher demand that's there than product amount. Because if you put something into your cart and you have like, let's say, 10 minutes to check out, in the meantime the skeins are shown to someone else as sold out, and so it's pretty much the same thing, and as if you would be carjacked. It's just, I don't know, it sounds so weird, but it's just the same thing. Either one or the other person will miss out on the skeins they wanted. And so a reservation time in the cart doesn't change the issue. The issue is that there's more demand than I can produce. And that's now the last thing I want to say about this. But yeah, I just hope things will go a bit slower this time. And I'm working very hard towards making this issue not like producing more to make the issue less. And yeah, I'm really looking forward to the shop update because I'm just very happy with all the springy colors I dyed, and I just hope you will find something you like. As said, I'm here whenever you need me and whenever you are unsure about things. And yeah, I think that's it for me, what I wanted to mention. I think we're done with the episode finally, so now I'm going to get editing this, and so I can put it all up on YouTube for you. So yeah, again, thank you so much for your ongoing support. I really hope this little end section wasn't too much of a serious talk. But yeah, I hope to see you next Friday. Have a lovely weekend with maybe a little bit of sun, I hope. And yeah, let's speak soon. Bye!